I'm 76 years old. And 8 months ago, my daughter told her therapist something that destroyed me. She said, "I don't think my mother ever really wanted to be a mother. I think she wanted the idea of having a child. But she didn't want to actually do the work of raising one. I wasn't supposed to hear that." But my daughter, the letter started with, "Sarah, she's 43 now," she told me. Not to hurt me, she said her therapist thought I should know.
I sat in my living room listening to my daughter tell me how abandoned she'd felt her entire childhood. And all I could think was, I gave you everything. The best schools, the best opportunities, financial security, everything. Everything except me. Here's what nobody tells you about being a working mother. You can have it all, but you can't be present for all of it. And when you choose career over presence, when you outsource the formative years, you don't get them back. And by the time you realize what you've missed, your daughter is 43, years old in therapy, trying to process why her mother was never actually there. I'm making this video because I see mothers everywhere telling themselves the same lies I told myself. That quality time matters more than quantity. That providing financially is the same as providing emotionally. That kids are resilient and they'll understand. And I need you to know what it costs. Because I paid for it, and so did my daughter. Let me tell you what happened. 8 months ago, Sarah asked if we could have lunch. Just us. We sat down at this restaurant, and she was nervous. She said, "Mom, I've been in therapy for about a year now, and my therapist thinks it would be helpful for me to talk to you about my childhood." I said, "Okay," but my stomach dropped because I knew what was coming. She said, "I need you to understand something. I know you worked hard. I know you were building your career, but I spent most of my childhood feeling like I wasn't important to you." I started to interrupt, to defend myself. She held up her hand. "Please, just let me say this. I have memories of waiting for you to come home, of Rita putting me to bed every night and telling me you'd be there in the morning, of piano recitals where I'd look for you in the audience, and you wouldn't be there, of being the only kid whose mom was never at pickup." She paused, tears in her eyes. "I know you loved me, but I needed you to be there, and you weren't. And I'm 43 years old, and I'm still trying to figure out why I wasn't enough to make you want to come home." I sat there, unable to speak, because she was right. About all of it. Let me tell you the biggest lie I told myself for 20 years. Quality time matters more than quantity. I may not be there every day, but when I am there, I'm fully present. I'm providing for their future. She'll understand when she's older. You know what? That's not enlightened parenting. That's not having it all. That's abandonment with a good PR strategy. I see mothers everywhere, especially ambitious women in their 30s and 40s, and they're all saying some version of this. When I make partner, when I get the promotion, when I prove myself, then I'll slow down. Then I'll be more present. My kids will be fine. They have good childcare. Let me save you 20 years of regret with one simple truth. Your children need you now, not later. And no amount of quality time makes up for not being there. You know why? Because childhood doesn't wait. The bedtimes happen with or without you. The scraped knees need comfort in the moment. The bad dreams come at 2 in the morning, whether you're there or on a business trip. And before you know it, your daughter is grown and she can barely remember you being part of her childhood. I had Sarah when I was 33, senior manager at a consulting firm, on track for VP. I took 12 weeks of maternity leave, went back to work when Sarah was 3 months old. We hired Rita. She was 52, experienced, warm. She moved into our guest room, became part of the family. I told myself this was the best of both worlds. Sarah would have consistent care from someone who loved her. I could continue building my career. What I didn't understand was that Rita wasn't helping me raise Sarah. Rita was raising Sarah. I was the woman who paid the bills and showed up occasionally. Rita knew Sarah's favorite foods, her fears, her friends' names, what made her laugh, what made her cry. Rita knew which stuffed animal Sarah needed to fall asleep. I knew Sarah's report card grades and what violin piece she was working on, the performance metrics of parenting. But I didn't know my daughter. Sarah started dance when she was 6, ballet. She loved it. In the 4 years she took dance, I went to maybe 5 recitals, out of probably 20. I told myself I was too busy. Important meetings, client presentations. The truth? I could have been there, but I didn't, because my career felt more important than watching my daughter twirl around a stage for 3 minutes. Rita went to every single recital, every single one. Sarah told me something in that lunch that broke me. She said, "I remember this one recital. I was maybe 8. It was the big spring show. I had a solo, my first solo. I was so nervous. I did my solo. I did it perfectly. I was so proud. And the second I finished, I looked for you in the audience, scanned every face. You weren't there. I walked off stage and I asked Rita if you'd seen it. She said you couldn't make it, work emergency, and I just remember thinking, it doesn't count if she didn't see it. It doesn't count if she didn't see it. That sentence has haunted me every day since. I wasn't there for her solo. I was in a conference room arguing about a pitch strategy for a client I can't even remember now. But that solo, that mattered. That was my daughter's moment of pride and courage, and I traded it for a forgettable meeting. Bedtime was Rita's job. I'd tell myself it was fine because Rita was better at the routine. She had the patience for the stories and the songs. But here's what I missed. Bedtime isn't a task to outsource. Bedtime is when kids tell you about their day, when they share their worries, when they feel safe and loved and connected. Sarah had all of those conversations with Rita, not me. Rita knew about the girl who was mean to her at school. Rita knew she was afraid of thunderstorms. I knew none of this, because I was never there. Parent-teacher conferences happened twice a year. In 7 years of elementary school, I went to maybe 4 out of 14. Rita went to the rest. Rita knew Sarah was struggling with reading. Rita knew Sarah was gifted at art. Rita knew Sarah had trouble making friends. I found out these things secondhand. From Rita, from report cards. I wasn't parenting. I was managing from a distance, while someone else did the actual work. Sarah got married 3 years ago. She was 40. The wedding was beautiful. I was so excited. My daughter's wedding. I'd be there for all of it. Help her plan, go dress shopping, all the mother-daughter moments I'd missed. She didn't really want my help, was polite about it, but clearly didn't need me involved. The morning of the wedding, I went to Sarah's suite to help her get ready. Mother of the bride. This was my moment. I walked in and Sarah was sitting in front of the mirror. Her bridesmaids were doing her hair. And Rita was there, in a chair next to Sarah, holding her hand. I stood in the doorway and I realized I wasn't needed here. Rita was the one Sarah wanted. I watched Rita help Sarah into her dress, adjust her veil, wipe away her tears, whisper something that made Sarah laugh. All the things a mother does. And I was just a guest in expensive clothes. At the reception, they did a toast to Rita. Sarah said, "Rita, you raised me. You were there for every moment, every triumph, every heartbreak, every ordinary Tuesday. I wouldn't be who I am without you. Thank you for being the mother I needed." Everyone clapped. It was touching. Rita cried. I clapped too, smiled, but inside I was destroyed because Sarah was right. Rita had been the mother she needed. I'd been the woman who paid for everything and showed up for photos. If you're choosing career over presence right now, I want you to ask yourself some hard questions. Who puts your child to bed? Who knows their best friend's name? Who knows what they're worried about? When's the last time you were at pickup? When's the last time you just sat with your child with nothing else to do but be together? If your child had to describe you to someone, what would they say? If you can't answer these, you're making the same mistake I made. Here's what I understand now. Being a mother isn't something you do in your spare time. Being a mother isn't a role you can outsource and still claim. Being a mother means being there, not just for the big moments, for the small ones, the boring ones, the 3 in the morning ones. It's reading the same book for the 50th time, even though you're exhausted. It's being at pickup every day, even though it's inconvenient. It's saying no to the meeting because your child needs you. It's choosing them over and over. Day after day, after that lunch 8 months ago, I apologized, really apologized, not a defensive apology, a real one. I said, "You're right. I wasn't there. I chose my career over you, and I told myself it was for your benefit, but really it was for mine. I wanted both, and I thought I could have both. But you can't have a career and a childhood. Your childhood happened without me, and that's my fault. I'm sorry." Sarah cried. I cried. We sat in that restaurant, and we grieved together for the relationship we never had. She said, "I don't want you to feel guilty forever. I just needed you to acknowledge it, to see what you missed, what we both missed. We're trying now, building something. It's slow. There's a lot of lost time. But we talk more. Real conversations. She's letting me know her adult self, even though I never knew her child self. She's letting me be a grandmother to her kids, even though I wasn't really a mother to her. It's not the same as if I'd been there from the beginning, but it's something. If I could go back and talk to my 33-year-old self, here's what I would say. Stop telling yourself quality time is enough. Stop telling yourself she'll understand later. Stop thinking you're providing for her future by missing her present. Start being at bedtime. Start going to the recitals. Start being at pickup. Start saying no to work sometimes and yes to your child. And most importantly, start now. Not after this promotion, not after you make partner, not after the company is more stable. Now, because I promise you, she won't be 6 forever. She won't always want you at bedtime. One day, she'll stop asking, and you'll show up ready to be her mother, and she'll politely tell you she doesn't need you anymore. I'm 76. If I'm lucky, maybe 10 more years. Maybe 15 if blessed. Probably less. And these last 8 months, I've stopped defending my choices, stopped pretending I did the best I could. I didn't do the best I could. I did what was easiest for me, what served my ambition, what let me feel important at work while failing at home. I'm building a relationship with Sarah now. Better late than never. But it's not the same as the relationship we could have had if I'd just been there. I can't get back Sarah's childhood, can't redo the bedtimes or the recitals or the ordinary moments that build a bond. That's gone forever. I'm happier now, being honest about my failures, than I was at 50, lying to myself about my success. That's the irony. When you stop pretending your choices didn't cost anything, you can start making better choices. You have a choice right now, today. Keep telling yourself, quality time is enough. Keep missing bedtime for meetings. Keep letting someone else raise your child while you build your career. Or wake up, realize that childhood is happening right now, whether you're present or not. That your child needs you to be their mother, not their ATM. I can't make this choice for you, but I can tell you, you don't want to be 76 at your daughter's wedding, watching someone else be the mother she needed. Don't waste your child's childhood chasing promotions. Learn from my mistake. Go home for bedtime. Be at the recital. Miss the meeting if your child needs you. Be their mother, not their manager.
They won't remember how much money you made. They'll remember whether you were there. If this resonates, share this video. Leave a comment about one work commitment you're going to skip this week to be with your child. Subscribe because I have more painful lessons to share and not much time left to tell them. The clock is ticking. Who's raising your child?